What is quantum? The definition of quantum from dictionary.com is the smallest quantity of radiant energy equal to Planck's constant times the frequency of the associated radiation. This definition is essentially referring to the Planck relation E is equal to hf equation that was defined by Max Planck. He later went on to win the Nobel Prize in 1918 for his work on energy quantum. What Planck discovered was that photons, including light, are bundles of energy, as he called it, not a continuous wave. Numerous physicists were referring to this bundle of energy as quantum, plural quantum, in the early 1900s, and now it is commonly referred to in this way. So, technically, quantum proof form is quanta. So quanta, technically, I think they are referring to them, the demons, the spirits, because it says bundles of energy. So when you don't have the body, demons, they don't have body. They can only possess people, humans, or animals, a physical body. They are bundles of energy as photons. So our spirit is bundles of energy. Our energy is comprised of photons, and we all are light beings. But in this realm, the light beings quantify, photons quantify when magnetic fields present. We are on Earth, and Earth is a network of magnetic fields. Okay. When photons travel in waves, they are discrete bundles of energy, quantum. When an electron is in orbit around an atom, it is found at quantum energy levels. The electron can only be at specified orbitals energy levels. When the electron transitions between orbitals, it is referred to as a quantum leap. The relationship between the electron in an atom being at quantum energy levels and the photon being quantum packets of energy is not surprising. The electron transition to lower orbitals is what creates a photon. So at quantum energy levels, we are at quantum energy levels from the spirits, the demons. We are at the 3D energy level, which is the 3D realm, and they are at the 4D energy level. They are at the 4D realm. And, be careful because since Trump, he is the one who first mentioned 4D chess play. So if people they don't know anything about different energy levels, they think that we're at 3D, right? 4D must be higher realm and better than us. But technically, it is not. 4D is only exists for the demons to exit the spirit, and it's the realm, and we cannot encounter. We cannot break through to the level, the energy level, because we are not 4D, we are 3D energy level. I'm talking about the energy level because that's the correct analogy of the um, the realm, because 3D is just a layman term, I think, to explain our energy level. Our vibration is different than the demon's vibration, so that's why the realm cannot break through to our realm, and we cannot break through to their realm. It's only when they perform satanic ritual and have that particular person allow them to come into their body, and so at that stage I think it means quantum entanglement, because there's a spiritual corridor for doorway, I think, for them to entangle with the particular person when that person allows it. Okay, so I think the quantum entanglement means the energy level combine when two different energy level beings interact at the energy level, and you need to have the permission for that. So, the relationship between the electron in an atom being at quantum energy levels and the photon being quantum packets of energy is not surprising. The electron transition to lower orbitals is what creates a photon. So, lower orbital, it doesn't mean that we have lower energy than them. It's just a level of vibration. Explanation. Quantum is difficult to comprehend because the current explanation of the subatomic world is very different than the world larger than the atom. It is currently believed that the quantum world has a different set of rules in the universe. Of course, each level has their own rule, has their own vibration. However, with a slight change in our way of thinking, the bridge between the quantum world and the world in which we see becomes apparent. Both both live by the same rules of physics. Yeah, right. They wish. Atomic orbital. Quantum energy levels. The ping pong ball scenarios are the best way to explain the forces of an electron in an atom. There is sufficient proof of this model from energy wave theory. Number one, the proton structure matches beta decay experiments. Number two, orbital distances were accurately calculated. And three, electron ionization energies were calculated for the first 20 elements. An example of the atom and the attractive force F1 and repulsive force F2 is illustrated below. The point where forces are equal becomes an orbital. Each orbital has an associated energy level matching the attractive electric force for the electron at that distance. The photon's explanation only solves one part of the quantum mystery. It explains how an electron stays in orbit around a photon when it does not do the same for a positron. It explains how a stable atom can have different orbitals depending on the configuration of its nucleus. But it has not yet explained the photon emission, creating quantum energy. Energy is always conserved, but it changes forms. When an electron is captured in an orbital closer to the atomic nucleus, it vibrates and creates a transverse wave. It is transferring longitudinal wave energy to transverse wave energy. The photon is a transverse wave when it is created from an electron in an atom. It is a short-lived vibration. Thus, it becomes a discrete packet quantum of transverse wave energy. This is the photon, and its properties can be modeled in energy wave theory with a transverse energy equation, in which the energy gained is exactly equal to the energy lost in the calculation using the longitudinal energy equation. An electron can be captured from outside of the atom, or it can change between orbitals, such as the illustration below. But as explained in the structure of the photon in the ping pong ball example, there are specific distances where the forces will be zero that act on the electron, depending on the number of protons and the placement of other electrons in the atom. Below is one of the examples of the creation of the photon from the electron's vibration. Excited electron eventually loses aperture from photon that created constructive interference. Electron now drops to point of minimal aperture. It vibrates due to transverse wave from photon before coming to stop in resonance. It generates two photons while settling into orbit. One photon will be absorbed by atom recoil. The other escapes the atom. Photon absorption, absorbing quantum energy. The photon's quantum energy can be absorbed, converting transverse wave energy back to longitudinal wave energy. The details of how photons at specific frequencies are absorbed by electrons is provided in the photon interactions page. In short, transverse waves cause a faster spin of the electron, increasing the longitudinal wave amplitude between the nucleus. This forces the electron away from the nucleus, but it eventually returns to the ground state as the amplitude gain is temporary. Amplitude gain is temporary. Um, so quantum should not be a mysterious phenomenon that only applies to subatomic particles. The energy levels are a result of multiple forces in the atom acting on an electron, and the electron's motion converts energy between two different waveforms, longitudinal and transverse.